Hello, my name is Eduardo Noel. It's September 14, 2019. This is a video entry for Week 2 Histology. Histology is the study of anatomy under a microscope that contains cells, also functions to create a tissue, organelle, and organ system that is held together by a cell junction. There are 4 types of tissues that we'll be talking about. There are epithelial tissues, connective tissues, muscular tissues, and nervous tissues. We'll be talking about epithelial tissues first. Epithelial tissues is a barrier that protects the human body from internal and external environments by the skin, which is the largest organ in the human body, including the respiratory tract. It lines the cavities, vessels, and glands. Epithelial cells is connected by one another and underlying tissues by basal lamina or basement membrane. The structure types of epithelial cells are simple squamous. It's a thin scale that is flat. Simple cuboidal. It's a cube shape but single layer. Simple columnar. It's a round shape but single layer. Stratified squamous. It's a columnar or cube shape with multiple layers. Transitional is a shape that changes due to bladder size. And pseudostratified is an irregular shape and size. There are 3 layers of the skin. The top layer is the epidermis, which are dead cells, keratinized cells. There is the dermis, the middle layer of the skin, that consists of loose connective tissue that contains sensory receptors, endocrine glands, blood vessel and hair follicles, and connective tissues. And also there's the last layer is the hypodermis, which contains the adipose tissue, apocrine glands, sensory nerves, and blood vessels. The functions of epithelial tissues are ciliated, which is located in the upper respiratory tract, and the female reproductive tract, which helps move substance out through the mouth or through the digestive system. Exchange, where we do gas exchange in the lungs and the vessels. Protective, where cells are tightly connected through the skin and the mouth. And transporting through the kidneys, intestine, and exocrine gland. And the secretory are usually the exocrine gland. Now we'll be talking about connective tissue. Connective tissue contains loose, dense connective tissues, adipose and blood, and supporting tissues. The major part of connective tissues are to support for internal tissues and organs, structural position of the body. Connective tissue also has a matrix, which are major components of ground substance that are crisscrossed by protein fibers, which transports fluids, nutrition, waste, also message, and defends microorganisms from entering the body. Now we'll be talking about muscle and nervous tissues, which are excitable by signals known as action potential, but contracted filaments acting in myosin. They are contracted by induced force and body movement. There are 3 types of muscle tissues. There are the skeletal, which are voluntary movements, produces heat, and protects our organs. And then we have the cardiac, which are involuntary, that contracts to pump blood. We also have the smooth muscle, that are involuntary movement of the respiratory secretions, regulates flow of the blood by contractions. And now we have nervous tissue, which contains neurons that transmits information to one another that causes muscle cells to move from the brain, and spinal cords, which are made by neurons and neuroglia that transfers information via chemical impulse called action potential. This concludes my video for Week 2 Histology.